make you force up the information that you know. And we're not.
Well, that really is what's happening. Whether it's Bill Clinton or whether it's Obama, she just attaches herself onto a presidency and then operates. She did that under Clinton. She ran her own White House separate, kind of like Dick Cheney did with Bush. This is
absolutely, yeah. That's exactly what she did. Exactly what she did. And he had to, Alex, Obama had to bring her on either as vice president, which he was not going to do, or as Secretary of State. Because if you go back to the feeling during those days when he finally won the election, and every last one of us knew that they took it from her. They took the state of Florida, they took the state of Michigan from her. They bamboozled the American people. The media...
Absolutely. Stay there, Pastor Manning. We're coming right back on the other side. Pastor Manning's our guest. This is a short segment, long segment, coming up with more news and your calls. Mel, Daniel, Maurice, Corey, Greg, and others. Piercing angles on that, Pastor Manning. Let me expand on that in this question. Why do you think the FBI director did that? Looking at the different power structure, we know the Clintons and the Obamas don't like each other. Hillary's come out and said now she wants Loretta Lynch to continue on. Why would Clinton force his way on her plane in that James Bond villain meeting on the tarmac? I mean, it's like they're trying to rub our face in it, or they just don't care. What's going on?
Well, they absolutely don't care. That's for sure. But Comey had to do that to protect the integrity of all the other people, going all the way back to the Supreme Court decision regarding Obamacare and Lieutenant Justice Roberts finding a loophole to cement an illegal program against the American people and Obamacare. But also, there's no proverb, oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. And quite frankly, James Comey, in order to hold the position that he holds now, must play ball with everybody else. That is to say, we've been tangling or weave. Of course, politics has always been politics, going back to Woodrow Wilson, back in the days of trying to establish the League of Nations. But since Obama, Alex, we have seen an uptick, in fact, a tsunami of political corruption like we've never seen before. And quite frankly, anybody who's in politics right now is a part of the corrupt system and protecting the interest of the corruptors. But right now, I'm ready to go out on a limb now and say, what Donald Trump is saying in one regard, that Hillary is the most crooked politician to ever run for office, he's absolutely right. And we need to think about it in this regard. There has nobody been as corrupt as Hillary is right now. And she's holding the power over all people, including James Comey. So in order for him to maintain his position, whatever that might be, he had to do what he did. But we can look at Benghazi. There's no, Obama got away with a lot of stuff. You and I talked about that 8 years ago, Alex, about Obama, the birth certificate, the whole issue, but nobody has gotten away with the kind of illegal things going all the way back to Whitewater.
And Pastor Manning, going back to Julius Caesar 2,000 plus years ago, 2,050-something years ago, he wrote about corruption. People don't get it. They start corrupting on purpose to get others involved, so now they control the whole system. And it looks like they're finally hitting that critical mass where the whole top of the structure is corrupt. Right. Everybody has been manipulated into it in the belief they're keeping America going, too big to fail. But in truth, they let the globalists take over by allowing the corruption to get to this level.
And that's the other thing, how the globalists are playing into this process, and people are told, listen, you want to eat bread, you want to live in this nation, you want to avoid going to jail or going to prison. Listen, Alex, if the FBI decided right now to investigate me on anything, they could put me in jail. If they wanted to do it, they could, and then I'd have to prove that I'm innocent.
Yeah, they can indict a ham sandwich. I mean, they could just say you gave a false statement.
Absolutely. So it's a matter of whether or not you want to play ball, and Americans are still eating. We're still fairly to
sure.
Some
But
degree.
Hillary now knows she can go for broke. What do you expect her to do? We're going to break in a minute and a half. If she gets in, what does she do?
It's going to be chaos like you've never seen before. She holds the power over a lot of people. I think the first person you're going to see fall and expose is going to be Obama, and if he's not first, Alex, the first the group that will fall will be the African American or the black people. She hates them. They kicked her in the teeth, and she has not. When I look at her and I see her interacting with Black Lives Matter, or when she approaches
very uncomfortable
African American people, she's very uncomfortable, Alex. She hates them. They kicked her in the teeth. They spit on her.
Before that, back when she was co-governor, and then first in the presidency with Obama, I mean, with the Clinton, she said, we got to make these black people heal.
Yeah, and so I think that you're going to see chaos, eruption upon black people, and also on Obama when she comes to power. And there'll be nothing anybody can do about it. Nothing anybody can do about it.
We'll be right back with Pastor Manning. Uncannily got his finger on the pulse. Your phone calls.
The Empire's on the run.
We're going to cover some other news stories, take your phone calls, your questions, your comments, Pastor Manning. And then we've got Nichols popping in to ride shotgun with us about 5 minutes of the next hour, because he predicted last week that Hillary would not be indicted. I don't even know if I should even play the clip. I mean, everybody heard it. We're going to hear from him briefly what's coming up next. Oh, by the way, Nico, one of our producers, head producer, just asked me, hey, you didn't cover Nigel Farage resigning yesterday or play his resignation speech. And I meant to. He's really the leader of Free Europe. Like, you could say the United States used to be the leadership of the free world. The president was the leader of the free world. I mean, we weren't perfect, but we stood against, communism and total corruption and had due process. And the little people had the same rights as the big people. But he was asking why I haven't talked about Nigel Farage leaving. It just fell through the cracks. I hope he's just taking a rest. But I remember when he used to come on as a guest, I'd talk to him during the breaks, and he would just say, oh, I'm so sick of all this. He wasn't a complainer. He just wanted to go back to private business. He didn't like what he had to do. He just didn't like EU bureaucrats coming in and shutting down London businesses and things. That's why he got involved as a businessman who'd never been in politics 23 years ago. And I think we need more Nigel Farages to stand up and take action. But kind of like George Washington, after he served his terms, just left. I just don't think Farage's job is done, but I understand why he went ahead and bowed out, because it's tough battling globalists. Believe me, I think about doing it all the time, but the problem is they're not going to go away unless we beat them. So we're going back to Pastor Manning here in just a moment, and your phone calls. Before I go any further, we've expanded and extended the July 4th sale. We've added non-GMO, heirloom, open-pollinated seeds of the super high-quality variety, 20% off of the 14 different brands we carry that are the very best out there. We have a huge seed center. I set out to make it the most extensive and high-quality, lowest priced out there. That's 20% off. In some cases, there's basically no profit with that lost leader. We're expanding it to all shortwave radios, including crank power, solar power, you name it, and a bunch of other preparedness items. And 20 to 40% off all of the InfoWars Select storable foods. When I say Select, that's just the name of the brand. It isn't just Select brands. It's Select Food. It's the entire My Patriot Supply catalog, private label by us. We can sell it for lower prices than anybody else can. You can also buy My Patriot Supply, the exact same food right next to it on the site if you choose to, and your purchase funds this operation. You get free shipping on orders of $50 or more, and 10% off additionally when you sign up for auto ship on things that you need to reorder, like Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2, which, by the way, you might want to sign up for auto ship, because we always hold some back so that we never sell out of that for folks that are on auto ship, because we are set to sell out. This hadn't happened in a long time, so we try to stockpile it. Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2, the good halogen. Research the iodine conspiracy, research why they want us deficient in it, research how it's the opposite of fluoride, the good halogen, research why it's so important. And if you already know how great it is, give it to friends and family and support the broadcast. That's 20% off, and I'm going to keep that sale going until we're right about to sell out, and then just hold some back for the folks that are auto ship. InfoWarsStore.com or InfoWarsLife.com. Take advantage of that today. We have the all-new design, similar to the last, but to the last collector's edition. But it has a red Infowars.com on the right shoulder and Legalized Freedom Infowars.com on the back. Hillary for Prison 2016 on the front. That is for sale, $19.95. I sold a lot of the other ones at $5 at cost. I need to raise money to put aircraft over the RNC and DNC. We've already signed the contracts. And it's going to cost me, because I was going to do just the RNC, now I'm doing the DNC. It's going to cost me $65,000. And I think if I sell, I think it's something like 20. If I sell like 5,000 T-shirts in $19.95, that should pay for most of it. So Get those today. Please support the broadcast. I'm all in this year. I'm spending everything. I'm not even going to, I am set this year to not even take a profit. That's my goal, is to be able to hire the new reporters, put everything in, get the camera people, more writers, more reporters, and just put our full fight in 2016, because it's so critical. That's what we're doing here. In the past, I'd hold back some money for war chest, backup money. I am even digging into that right now, because I can just spiritually, at a gut level, feel that's the right thing to do. And so we're all in right now. We're expanding in the face of the globalist, and hope Providence will carry us the rest of the way. So I want to thank you all for your support. Also support Pastor Manning and the great work he does. Check out all of his information at atlah, atlah.org. Pastor James David Manning. I want to go to some calls here, sir, and see what their questions or comments are for you and myself, but other points that you'd like to make about what you expect to happen in the future, and other things that you're looking at right now.
I'd like to respond to Nigel Farage in terms of his stepping away from the leadership of the UK at this present time. And what I want to say is whether or not we want to track or the last time the UK has been hit with a major terrorist attack, when you right across the English Channel, you've got several attacks both in Paris and in Brussels. And was Farage, and I consider him to be a noble person. He was defeated by a Muslim as mayor of London. But, and this is a question, I certainly don't mean to cast aspersions on him in any way, but you know, the ISIS boys could have said, we'll let England go free of terrorist attacks for 2 or 3 years if you do not lead an opposition movement against try to get.
Well, I know he almost died in a plane crash. I mean, I know he doesn't talk about it, but he gets mega death threats. And I mean, so, there's actually an article about that they are threatening to kill him right now, and that his family wants him to step down.
Did he get something such as, be noble? We will not bring any terrorist attack to London soil if you'll step away from opposing us. You know, the bombing in Istanbul at the airport. In a Muslim nation, one would wonder, why are Muslims bombing Muslims? Well, it's the same thing in Baghdad with the Shiites and the Sunnis.
I was about to say, we saw ISIS attack 5 different targets over the weekend, and mainstream media would not even say Islamic.
Right, Obama won't say, and Donald Trump said last night, Obama won't say ISIL either. ISIS, rather, he says ISIL. But, you know, what's happening is that the ISIS and Muslims are saying, listen, we want control. We want control of Turkey. You're a major nation. You're right here on the coast of Europe. We want you under our authority and our power. Don't do it. We're going to bring horrific events to your citizens here. Make them bow down. Make France bow down.
Have you seen how the new Muslim mayor of London is already saying we can't have any women in bathing suits on government buses? Advertising, and he's now saying he's going to go after folks that criticize Muslims. He says he may try to break away from England too and take London over and make it London stand. I mean, look, I didn't used to sit here and bash the Muslims, but give me a break. Once they get to a concentrated level, the radical Muslims, the Orthodox Muslims, whatever you want to call it, they get radical and they start taking over. That is their plan to overthrow our free societies. Why is the left bringing them in?
For that reason. Why is the left bringing them in? Because the left, if you will, are being told that if they don't do it, if they do it, first of all, they will be greatly rewarded. If they do so, they'll be protected. They'll have the mega incomes and mega positions of authority. But if they don't do it, they get absolutely nothing. In fact, they get the kiss of death. So for them, the choice is let it happen, and perhaps somehow another.
I was about to say, a lot of experts I've talked to say that's why the left does grovel to Islam. They're afraid of it. Whereas Christians and conservatives and libertarians, we're so nice and friendly, we let them push us around. We let the biggest wimps on earth push us around while they roll a red carpet out to people that throw homosexuals off buildings.
Yeah, well, you know, I think that every religion has, Alex, at its basic premise, world domination. I mean, it doesn't always have to be an evil, malicious, violent one. But every religion wants to be the #1 religion. It wants to dominate the world, and it wants all people on planet Earth to be adherents.
And that's it. The left are collaborators by instinct. They used to collaborate with the communists. Now they collaborate with the Muslims, and that's just they're horrible people.
Yeah. So you know, we have to realize that this is what's happening right now. Christians are wimpy as they come. I mean, I don't know if I want to call them Christians.
So we've invited
anymore.
this. Christian persecution, the UN admits, doubled the last 8 years. Christians are the most persecuted group